Good day all. Welcome to the new session of our writing class. In this session, you will start learning a new topic, comparison and contrast essay. And here are your learning objectives for today's session. A comparison essay is one of the most common forms of essay in writing. In a good comparison essay, the writer discusses two subjects, and these subjects can be anything, like people, objects, places, or even ideas. Even though it is commonly called comparison, writers can focus on only comparison, that is, focusing on similarity, only contrast, or focusing on differences, or comparison contrast, that is, writing about both similarities and differences. Writers organize a comparison essays in two major ways. In the block method, the writer discusses all the chosen points of comparison of the first subject and then uses the same points of comparison to discuss the second object. Another alternative is point-by-point method. Here, the writer discusses one point of comparison at a time of both subjects. These two techniques are the most common to use. And here are two types of techniques, block and point by point, presented in the diagram to help you understand the idea better. Regardless of which method you use, you must choose points of comparison of the two subjects to compare and contrast. For example, if your two subjects are life in London in 1900 and life in London in 2000, you might include these 3 points of comparison in your essay: population, technology, and transportation. In block method, the writer discusses points of comparison about one subject first before discussing the same points about the second subject. It is important to discuss the points of comparison in the same order. Here is an example of an outline using the block method. Remember, the purpose of your essay is to clearly point out similarities or differences. In the block method, sometimes the specific similarities or differences and the degree of similarity or difference are not that clear. Well, keep in mind that good writers make sure that readers can see the comparison and contrast clearly. In point-by-point method, information about the two subjects is contained within each paragraph, thus making the writer's comparison or contrast much easier for reader to understand. In this method, the writer discusses one point of comparison about both subjects first, before discussing the second point of comparison about both subjects, and then the third point of comparison. Here is an example of an outline using point-by-point method. Again, keep in mind that you must use at least 2 points of comparison and be sure to discuss the subjects in the same order for each point of comparison. Now, we can look at some of the details generated as an example of the supporting detail for the topic Life in London in 1900 and 2000. The essay will have supporting sentences for each point of comparison. Take a look at the following chart, shows how this information for technology is handled in each method of essay organization. In writing comparison essay, there are transition signals which show the similarities or differences, and these signals can help make our writing clearer and bolder. Have a look at these common examples. You can actually explore by Googling some more samples, even how to use these signals correctly in sentences. And here are more examples for you to learn from both methods. Read carefully and focus on how the explanation is developed in each method. As now you have learned all the information needed about developing a comparison and contrast essay, let us put into practice by making your own outline and essay on the following topic. Decide your method, brainstorm your points of comparison or contrast, make your outline, and start writing your essay. So, happy writing everyone!